What is up, my veggies? My name is VTR, and welcome to my very first MLP episode review. And today we're going to be reviewing My Little Pony Season 1, Friendship is Magic. The episode starts off with a very clear homage to Disney, explaining a little bit about the world we are about to visit.
There were two regal sisters who ruled together.
From this little opener, we learn about the origin of Nightmare Moon and the tragedy that befalled her.
My Little Pony.
The intro. I'm probably one of the only fans that doesn't hate this intro. I actually really like the intro. I don't love it, but I do like the intro. And I might even do a whole video discussing the intro one day. But, on to the episode. And now we meet our protagonist of the entire series, Twilight Sparkle, who is just an introvert who doesn't really like socializing with other ponies and would rather spend her time with her head stuck in books. This doesn't sound familiar at all. Twilight rushes back home. Before we do that, how about we get a little Spike abuse? Even after all these years, this still seems very cruel. Twilight starts to do more research and learns that on the anniversary of the Summer Sun celebration, Nightmare Moon will return. And she has Spike write a message to Princess Celestia warning her about these events, but Celestia literally is just like, basically, I get what you're saying, but I don't care right now, go to Ponyville. Twilight winds up going to Ponyville and meeting quite the colorful cast of characters, running into Pinkie Pie, but not being introduced formally just yet. She also runs into Applejack and is tasting the food for the up-and-coming celebration. And she also runs into Rainbow Dash, who they don't really get off to a good start, but they'll get there. Next, Twilight meets up with Rarity, who is preparing the decorations for the Summer Sun celebration. She's kind of a fashionista, and Spike automatically starts to get a small little bit of a crush on her, when also Rarity has a little bit of a freak out when she learns that Twilight is from Canterlot. Next up is Fluttershy, the shy one. And you cannot tell me her trying to introduce herself to Twilight is one of the most adorable things you have ever seen.
I'm Fluttershy.
I'm sorry, what was that?
My name is Fluttershy.
Didn't quite catch that.
Oh, I just want to give her a hug. Twilight and Spike arrive at the treehouse where they'll be staying while staying in Ponyville, which this place will become a series staple later on. But for them to find out that there has been a surprise party planned for them because she's new in town, and that's just Pinkie's thing. Now, I cannot go any further without mentioning the infamous animation error in this episode that gave us our beloved fan favorite character, which the fandom dubbed Derpy. I find it completely insane how one tiny animation error started this whole thing amongst the Brony fandom that just created this whole character and gave her a personality just based off one animation error. It's actually very interesting and shows how strong the Brony fandom is and has made this character a fan favorite character, and it doesn't even have a line of dialogue. Derpy has just become a symbol in the Brony fandom, and it's completely insane that just this simple animation error is what did it. Twilight goes to the room, very annoyed with the massive amount of ponies that are in the library, and she's just ranting to herself and starts to think more about Nightmare Moon, just for Spike to come interrupt her. Am I the only one that thinks it's highly inappropriate for them to be putting this lampshade on Spike's head? Usually this is something that you see done in like frat parties and stuff like that, and seeing that on Spike's head just makes me feel weird. It's now time for the Summer Sun celebration. Everyone is ready, everyone is excited, and everyone is just really excited to see things happen. But Twilight is still on edge, and her frustration is just equalized when she sees the image of Nightmare Moon disappear from the moon. Not gonna lie, that's a cool shot. They pull back the curtain and Celestia is missing. Dun dun dun! Out of nowhere, a mysterious figure starts to appear, and that mysterious figure is Nightmare Moon. Wow, Spike, dramatic much? Nightmare Moon is striking fear into the ponies and just trying to terrify them. And Twilight's just like, no, I ain't having none of that. I know who you are. I know what you're doing here. What are you doing? Wow, that was a dumb joke even for me. And then Nightmare Moon declares that night should last forever. Not even thinking about the repercussions that might have, but she's evil. Who cares? In literally 5 minutes. Episode 2 begins with Nightmare Moon running away for apparently no reason. So, okay, hear me out. So, unless Nightmare Moon knew that Twilight was going to be going after the elements, and yeah, I know that Nightmare Moon overhears them talking about the elements, but it's just a little baffling, don't you think? Anyway, Twilight goes back to the library and is trying to figure out what is going on. But she's not the only one that wants to know what's going on. But they also want to know how Twilight knows what was going on. And each character has their own way of kind of showing off how they feel about the situation. Twilight winds up finding a book that lets us know what the 5 elements are, but the 6th one is still remained a mystery. But just look at this scene and tell me you can't tell that it's obvious what they're doing here.
Kindness, laughter, generosity, honesty, and loyalty.
I mean, seriously, can you not be any more painfully obvious? Our heroes discover that they must go to the Everfree Forest to uncover the elements. Now, I do applaud them for not actually giving away some of the secrets of the Everfree Forest right at the beginning of the series. I guess we'll get some information about the Everfree Forest in later episodes, but I'm glad they didn't throw it at us right in the first 2 episodes. And then it is into the Everfree Forest.
Especially if there's candy apples in there.
Pinky, you are my spirit animal. And yes, I know I'm not the first to make that joke. Now we get to the actual adventure of our episode. And what a best way to start off an adventure than almost falling off a cliff. And Nightmare Moon winds up turning herself into a thorn to put herself in the paw of a manticore? That sounded much better in my head. Hey guys, future VTR here. Just wanted to point out that at this moment we didn't know that it was a thorn in the manticore's paw. Just wanted to point that out real quick. Back to the video. Throwing some Greek mythology in here, huh? I like that, and it's not the last time we'll see something like this in the show. It's very interesting that they bring stuff like this into the show. They try to fight off the manticore, but Fluttershy has other ideas. She seems like she's crazy, but she knows. She has a thing for animals. She just wants to see what's wrong, and she discovers the thorn in his paw. Next, our main characters come across some spooky-looking trees and has a, I guess, normal reaction to something like this. But this leads into our very first song of the series.
When I was a little filly and the sun was going down, he said, Pinky, you gotta stand up tall. Oh, giggle at the ghost.
And yeah, this song is pretty darn catchy. It's not one of the most amazing songs the show has to offer, but it's a lot of fun and is pretty good for the first song of the entire series. And that whole sped up part where Pinky's singing or talking really fast is just really fun, and it's just a overall fun song. They come across a sea serpent that is crying and making just a bunch of ruckus in the lake, so they really can't get across. Why is he crying? Because his beloved mustache was ruined, of course. So Rarity graciously, or should I say generously, gives him her tail to fix the mustache. I wonder how Rarity learned to attach hair to another creature. Odd thought. And they come across a bridge that is broken thanks to plot convenience, and Rainbow Dash has to go across and fix it, but then comes across the shadow bolts. Now, we all know how this is going to go. They're going to ask her to join her, and then she's going to obviously say no because friendship. They finally get into the castle, and Twilight tries to reactivate the elements, and, well, Nightmare Moon ain't having none of that, so she's like, nah, I'm taking these, and Twilight's like, nah, I'm coming with you. And yes, I did make the same joke twice, and also, yes, I do regret it. Twilight tries to activate the elements again, but it doesn't really work. So, Nightmare Moon decides to shatter them. And Twilight's face is the best reaction ever. That is a I can't believe I failed face if I've ever seen one. But then Twilight comes to the realization that on her journey, she realized that all her new friends show the attributes of the elements of harmony, which winds up unlocking the sixth element, magic. By using the elements of harmony and the friendship of magic, obviously, they defeat Nightmare Moon and put an end to her eternal night. Haha! Celestia returns, and we get confirmation that Celestia is the princess from the story at the beginning of the episode, if that wasn't already obvious, and her sister Luna, which is now back to normal and no longer Nightmare Moon, and things are back to normal for them. Things are wrapping up for Twilight, and it's now time for her to go home. But she doesn't want to leave her new friends, so Celestia makes it an assignment for her to study the magic of friendship in Ponyville. And that was Friendship is Magic Parts 1 and 2. A great start to the series. It's a really good introduction to the characters, introduction to the world, and just a good introduction to the show. Now, this wasn't my introduction to My Little Pony, but I still really like these episodes. It's a lot of fun, and you just have enjoyment watching it, and the animation to the show is just pretty darn good, and just looking back at these episodes and just knowing this is where it all started is crazy. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my first MLP episode review. I intend on reviewing every episode of the show, every movie, and other My Little Pony related content on this channel. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!